So we have a lot of plants here. We've got anything from trees to grass to shrubs to flowers. And all of these plants have something in common. And that's that they have chlorophyll, right? Chlorophyll is that green pigment. It's what makes the green part of the plant green. And chlorophyll is what is responsible for photosynthesis. If we actually look at this actual flower here, right? There's the stem of the flower, here's the leaf, and we're going to draw like a tulip here. Okay, and it's going to have a few little bits coming out of it. There we go. Now, if this is the ground, right? The ground is here. Well, underground, my actual plant has roots, correct? Are we aware that all plants have roots in the soil? Yes, right? Now, do you remember the photosynthesis equation? Do you remember what happens, what photosynthesis needs? Sunlight. Aha, in the presence of sunlight and carbon dioxide, okay, and water, when you add all these things up in a plant, in the chlorophyll, it gives you energy. Now that energy, all right, is actually stored in a molecule. So I'm going to erase the word energy. It's stored in a molecule of sugar. Sugar, and in the process of undergoing photosynthesis, oxygen is produced. Does the plant need the oxygen? No, it does not. So it actually spits the oxygen out into the air. Who is happy about that? Us. Because we need the oxygen. Every time you breathe in, you're breathing in that oxygen, and your lungs are actually taking oxygen atoms out of that mixture of air, and it's going into your blood, and it's going to all the cells in your body. Okay? You need that to live. So sugar plus oxygen. Now, if I ask you where these three things come from, where does the sunlight come from?
The sky.
It comes from that big star in the center of our solar system. Okay? Where does the plant get its carbon dioxide?
From us.
Well, from us, but it gets it from the air. So on the underside of these leaves are little openings, microscopic openings, and the plant actually sucks up carbon dioxide, and it's going to spit out its oxygen from those little openings. Okay, so this comes from the air, right? Where do you think the water comes from? It comes from the soil. It doesn't come from the rain, because a plant can't just sit there and go, all right, rain on me, I need water. No, the water is actually in the soil down here when it rains, okay? When it rains, and that water gets absorbed by the roots. The plant then makes sugar, and it's going to use that sugar to live. That's why plants are autotrophs, right? An autotroph is the same thing as what word?
Independent.
Nope. It's the same thing as a producer. What do producers do?
They're capable of making their own food.
They're capable of making their own food through photosynthesis. If I am a heterotroph, if I've got a little, I don't know, a little insect here. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Okay, is that guy making his own food? No, he's got to eat it from somewhere else. Therefore, he is a heterotroph, also known as a consumer. Right? Now, in addition to being a consumer, if he breaks down dead things, what is he?
Decomposer.
He can be a decomposer. Here, we'll write producer up here. Okay? So all these vocabulary words, you need to know them. Now, if we move on to the idea of global warming. What is global warming? Claire, what is it?
It's when the sunlight comes through our atmosphere, but since there's so much pollution in our
Pollution in what sense?
like air pollution.
Like greenhouse gases, right?
And it makes the atmosphere thicker, so when the sunlight comes in, some of the heat has to escape, but it's not able to because the atmosphere is so thick.
Okay, so I'm going to make this a nice thick line here. This is my greenhouse gas layer, right? And so the light rays come into the planet, awesome sauce, they penetrate the pollution, they warm the earth. But the earth, on the other hand, also produces heat, and it used to be that some of that heat went back out to space. And now what's happening with the increase in carbon dioxide, mainly in the air, is that heat is getting trapped and being sent back into the atmosphere. So the air around our planet is getting hotter. So here's the question. How are humans impacting global warming? Give me some ideas. All right, we remember that the Earth has an equator, correct? And we're like somewhere up here. We're far enough from the equator that we have seasons. But in the areas surrounding the equator, okay, from about 30 degrees latitude above and 30 degrees latitude below, this area here in the middle of the earth is always warm. You go down to the Caribbean, nobody talks about the weather because the weather is always the same. It's warm, it's sunny, it's hot. They have the occasional rain. Okay? Now, these areas have forests. And along the equator of our planet, these forests photosynthesize all year long. So it gives them a chance to become very, very good photosynthesizers. Okay? They take in a lot of the world's carbon dioxide. So if areas like this are cutting down forests and burning them, when you burn wood, what does it make?
Carbon dioxide.
It makes smoke, which is carbon dioxide. Okay? There's a lot of natural phenomenon that occur in the world that can increase the amount of carbon. This is all human stuff. So this is human impacts. What about natural impacts? There was one in Fort McMurray.
A forest fire?
Forest fires. Now, forest fires, although they can occur by people, can also be naturally caused. The one in Fort McMurray was a wildfire. The person didn't set that. Okay? It was dry. It was hot. We'll learn about combustion in grade 10, but it basically started on its own. Forest fires consume a lot of wood. When the wood burns, it creates a lot of carbon dioxide. That goes into the air. What do you think it does to atmospheric levels?
It makes the greenhouse gases really thick.
It makes the carbon dioxide levels go up. Okay, what's another natural phenomenon?
Volcanoes.
Volcanoes. Now, volcanoes are natural because when they erupt, there's a lot of carbon in rock. And when that carbon melts, okay, yes, it becomes liquid, but when that volcano erupts, it also burns all of the natural vegetation around the volcano. It sends up huge amounts of ash into the atmosphere. Okay? That's a natural phenomenon. We can also, naturally, cut down, okay, forests, especially tropical rainforests. So these are all different reasons that, you know, the greenhouse gases can get bigger and bigger into the atmosphere.
I got a question. You cut down forests as natural, but humans do that.
Well, forests can also, forests can also actually get flooded and rotted, and they end up dying and falling down on their own. Okay, so this one, yes, it can be a human one, but naturally losing forests like this from a variety of natural phenomenon can also lead to higher greenhouse gas levels. Okay? So if we talk about how do tropical rainforests impact global warming, well, they work all year long. They photosynthesize all year long, so that's a good thing. Okay?